your shoreline loose as it ran freely through every cell in your body, then exploded into light. And that light became the joy in all things. And that joy became the love in all things. And that love became the knowledge of all things. And at that moment, in that long ago time, hidden in the wisdom of your blood memory, you breathed deeply of this knowledge, joy, love, essence. You breathed deeply and became one with everything. Listen. Breathe. Remember. Oh, Matakuya.
Ashe, good evening and welcome to the Honey Pot. This is your host, Miss Buttafly, and I'm so thankful that you decided to come and to spend some time with us tonight. We are very excited about tonight's show because we have a very special guest. She hasn't called in yet, but as soon as she does, we're going to get her on the line. We have Miss Elle Syreeta. She is the proponent, the visionary, and the founder of N.I.N.A Holistics. Elle is a holistic womb practitioner. She is a businesswoman, an entrepreneur. She is psychic. She is spiritual. She is my friend, and she is my sister. And as soon as she comes on the line, we're going to engage in our conversation with her. And I believe this is her.
Hey.
Elle is with you. Hey, girl. How you doing?
How you doing?
How are you? I'm so glad to have you here on the Honey Pot and for our listeners to be able to share with you in the wisdom that you're going to be giving us tonight. I know you're going to give it to us good this evening.
Yes, honey.
I am excited.
I spent my whole afternoon in a barbershop full of beautiful black men. And it was the most fulfilling, satisfying thing. Like, I'm charged, honey, charged.
I can only imagine. There's nothing like that masculine energy to get that blood flowing. So before we get into our show, we always want to pay respect and give honor to our ancestors. And so for those of you who are listening, when you hear the names that we're going to be speaking out, we just want you to say Ashe. And when you give your Ashe, that is literally you giving your consent, your energy, and your power. You are agreeing with the energy of the goddess or of the ancestor that we're going to be invoking. And so we pay homage to the goddess Aset. Ashe.
Ashe.
We pay homage. Ashe. We pay homage to Nut. We pay homage to Yemiya, to Oshun. We pay homage to Nzinga. Ashe.
Ashe.
We pay homage to Ya Asantewa. We pay homage to Makeda, to Queen Makeda. We pay homage to Harriet Tubman, to Sojourner Truth. We pay homage to all the ancestors, named and unnamed, who are willing and who are pleased to come and dwell with us this evening. We welcome you, ancestors. We give you our Ashe. We pray that you are pleased with us. We pray that you are pleased with what we are presenting here this evening and that you will give your blessing to this event. And so, having done that, we want to jump right into it. I want you to tell me all about N.I.N.A Holistics. Tell me what your work is. Is this just work for you, or is this your spiritual work? Like, is this a job, or is this something that you do because it's what you've been called and chosen to do? Tell me a little bit about you and the work that you do.
Well, I started N.I.N.A Holistics in the latter part of 2012. N.I.N.A stands for Never Ignore Nutrition Again. And it started off as something I did because I lost my mother in 2012, and I'm very vocal about that. And her loss, losing her, for her transitioning, it catapulted me into a different space in my life when I was very broken, and I was, just having to get through, and I had to channel all this hurt, Basically, I started off making herbal teas and doing, cleanses and things, because I have my holistic wellness certification from Queen Afua Wellness Institute.
Okay.
And so I was just kind of sticking to what I knew, but finding your niche is what you have to do. You have to find what you're passionate about. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. And so the teas were great, but it was unfulfilling. But what I found is that when I would go sell these teas to the men that I sold them to, it was really an energy tea, but the men would tell me, let me get 2 jars of that, because the ginseng thing is giving them some staying power. And that my antennas went up. I was like, oh, okay, the sexual part of it is what they're getting, but, whatever. So basically time progressed, and the teas and the cleanses weren't doing as well as I wanted them to, and I was going through some other things emotionally and spiritually and just some more growth. And I kind of fell back. And then when I got to Atlanta in 2013, I had determined that I was going to – I got to Atlanta in 2012, July. And so I determined that I was going to just get better, get better and revamp things. And so I started really focusing on women. Like, we are lacking so much love for ourselves and one another, and we're having unfulfilling sex. And the only reason I know that is because that happened for me. My reality was sex had become uncomfortable because I was broken. I was hurting, and I didn't know how to heal from it. I didn't know what to do. And your mind, your vagina, and your heart are all on one string, and when one is out of alignment, you can't tug on the other two and expect it to all line up. That's just it. And so I always had
dropping bombs. Dropping bombs already. They're dropping bombs already. Oh, my goodness.
That's true. It's very true.
Continue.
My mind and my heart weren't in the right place, and so my vagina would not function. I stayed with bacterial vaginosis. I stayed with vaginal dryness. I stayed, with a low libido, and I really, my partner and I at the time were going through something. We both were. So I'm thinking something's wrong with me. So I'm going to the doctor. I'm like, look, doc, I can't get wet. This isn't working. She's broken. And Western medicine going to tell you something wrong. Instead of just saying, well, are you happy? Are you eating properly? Are you exercising? Are you, they're not going to go there with you, but they're going to tell you, okay, here's a cream, here's a pill, whatever. And that didn't work for me. That wasn't enough. So that began the yoni journey for me. I'm obsessed with vaginas. And because what I noticed now, with the yoni eggs, I got into the yoni eggs first, and that's just semi-precious stone, and I have different sizes. I have like jumbo, I have medium, small, and medium, large, and mini. And you insert it into your vagina, and it's good for pelvic floor exercises. It keeps you tight and increases moisture because it increases the blood flow to the vagina. It increases the sensitivity, and it's really just also the semi-precious stone, depending on what you get. It's going to, the womb is the cradle of life. We carry life there. It comes from there, darkness, the life comes. So imagine if you have something so close to the earth as a stone that has these healing properties, and you place it in a place where life is given. It's like it's a double whammy. So that's that's how I arrived here. You know, I have my yoni eggs, and I also do energy readings. I do house blessings. I do guided meditation groups, private. Sometimes, you know, and now it's summertime in Atlanta. It's about to be summertime. I do them in the park every Sunday. So that's N.I.N.A Holistics in a nutshell. But the yoni eggs and the sensual products actually fall under N.I.N.A Sensuals. So that's where I am.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I want to ask you, well, before I ask that, let me give the number for anybody that wants to call and listen into the show, or if you have any questions for my guests. The number is 347-850-1062. That's 347-850-1062. Now, Elle, let me ask you this. You said something in the earlier part of your response. You said that women are having unfulfilling sex. Why do you think that is? Why do you think so many of our sisters are having unfulfilled sex? They're either doing it out of obligation, or it's physically uncomfortable. They're not having orgasms. What do you think is the root cause of this phenomenon that we're witnessing now with women?
Well, it's not only unfulfilling, but it's also fruitless, and that comes from a lot of things. And what I want to speak to is, you know, we come in different varieties. Some women like women, some women like men. And I think what covers all of it is that it's a guilt. Women feel guilty for feeling sexual, for being sensual, for wanting to be desired, for wanting to, you know, have somebody lust after them. There's nothing wrong with lust. You can have lust and love at the same time. I think my lesbian sisters get wrapped up in the guilt, and the sex becomes very fruitless because you can't bring forth a child with another woman, but that doesn't mean you can't bring forth something. Every encounter in life should be fruitful. It don't matter who you're dealing with, and if it's on a sexual level, that doesn't matter. If you're not bringing forth some type of fruit, you're wasting your time. I shouldn't sit and have a conversation with you and not be challenged or exhausted by the time I'm done, because I want to think. I want to know something. I want to grow from that. I need to be stretched and manipulated to be different, and not manipulated in a way where you're being dishonest, but like stretch me, grow me. And so the unfulfilling sex part, a lot of women don't even know what an orgasm is. A lot of women feel like you have to have this drawn-out movie porno sex to have an orgasm, and I can't stand that extra stuff. Like, can I come from this or no? Is this a PG-13?
No, it is not. You can say whatever you want.
That shit annoys me, and that's just real. Like, let somebody touch you. Start by touching yourself. And when I say that, I don't mean in a sense of masturbating, because the orgasm on a physical level is the overflow of the orgasm on a spiritual level when somebody's touching you, when somebody's getting to a part of you that you don't know is alive because you've suppressed it for so long. And I just think that women are having unfulfilling sex because they're guilty. They feel shame. They feel like they don't deserve it. They feel unworthy of a true orgasm. They feel like they have to please their partner more than they please themselves, when if you're with the right partner, it's gonna, like, it's process. You know what I'm saying? So women aren't in alignment with their femininity as well. And I understand not every woman's going to be walking around, you know, on daffodils or anything. I'm just saying we are hard. We are mean. We are antisocial. We are isolated. We are condescending. We have so many things that are hardening us. We don't know that we can be soft and sensual. We don't know that our collarbone is sexy. We don't know how to just, you know, smell good and let a man smell the back of your neck as he walks past you. I mean, there's so many ways to be soft and feminine. If you can't even adapt to that, there's no way you're going to know what your vagina's supposed to do. You don't even know how to walk like a lady. You don't even know how to speak soft and sweet. You don't know any of those things because it's foreign to you and it's misconstrued as weakness. And, you know, I
talk about that.
Girl, honey,
talk
listen.
about that.
Submission and weakness are not one and the same. Your power is in your submission. Your ability to make someone so comfortable with themselves that they can be themselves with you, and you can say, you know what, that's okay. I'm going to help you with this. Yes, honey, I'm going to make your dinner. Yes, baby, I'm going to draw your bath. That's how you get what you want. Everybody knows you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And that doesn't make you weak. That makes you a powerful woman. That makes you a strong woman. That makes you a woman who knows exactly what she wants and how to bring the pleasure and how to bring that pleasure to her partner. And all men want is to feel like men. They want to feel like they have something soft. And it's that simple. There's nothing else to it. There's no formula. There's no complicated math behind it. There's no books. A man wants to feel like a man, period. And once you do that, everything will fall in alignment, but we complicate the process. We just want to, and you got to do this, and you got to make this much money, and blah, blah. We talk ourselves out of our blessings on a consistent basis and then complain about our lack. And that, to me, is fear. Maybe not weakness, but it's fear. It's fear of what if it fails. But what if it succeeds? Unless you try to fail, you'll never succeed. So you have to just get in a space where you understand the difference between submission and weakness. A powerful woman can be quiet. That's the truth. A powerful woman knows how to sit there and say, you know what, I can get this off because I know I have the answer, but sometimes you have to let them come to the conclusion themselves and give them the pleasure of thinking that they thought something up, and then you stroke the ego after that. That's a powerful woman. That's a submissive woman. And I just think that we have to get back to that. Like, we have to get in a space of femininity and submission and just you know, quiet strength. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
So as it relates to the nature of a goddess, a woman who is seeking to ascend in her consciousness, in her awareness, in her, and let me just say, not just her consciousness on an intellectual level, because there are many different types of consciousness. You can be book smart and street dumb, okay? And, you know, you can be book smart, you can know all of our master teachers and, you know all the terminology and run down facts and statistics, but be completely relationship illiterate. So talk to me about how cultivating femininity, well, I guess this is a two-part question. First of all, how would you speak to cultivating femininity, and then how does cultivating femininity fit into the nature of a goddess?
Well, as far as cultivating femininity, it's just a matter of letting go of what we watch too much TV. We listen to too many. We listen to too many people who don't know what it is to be a woman, or we keep listening to a bunch of broken women trying to piece together a whole one. And in that, we become, and this is one of my favorite phrases. Whenever we're not operating at our full potential and operating out of our full goddesshood, we're just becoming the whole instead of the whole woman. You're the woman with the whole. And there's a difference. And when you operate,
wait, because you have given me so much life on this radio. Say that again.
Yes.
We have become the whole instead of the whole woman.
Yes, we're the woman with the whole, not the whole woman. I'm okay with that. So it's no way we can operate from a goddess nature or a goddess consciousness because we just have a whole. We don't know we're whole with a W, and that's a broken woman. And so in order to cultivate the goddess or cultivate your femininity, you have to get into a space where your femininity does not, red bottoms don't equal femininity. Weave doesn't equal femininity. And, you know, I struggled with that insecurity, not so much that it equated femininity to me, but it equated desire. And I had to break myself out of that. Like, because you know how we do our people. Black people will tell you, oh, because you don't like something or because you speak against something, you're hating on it. And I struggle with that. I'm like, I'm not hating on these women. These are beautiful women who have some of these attributes. But I'm just wondering, what is the state of a woman's heart who won't even wear her own hair? What's the state of her consciousness? What really is her consciousness? She looked in the mirror one day and said, even if it's such a small comment as to say, I just can't deal with it. That's heavy as shit. What you mean you can't deal with it? It's yours. Like,
exactly.
You don't have a choice. It's on your head. It's out your scalp. So cultivating the femininity or cultivating the sacred feminine is just getting to a point where you're okay with who you are and you operate from that. I know my strengths and I know my opportunities. I know that when I feel my sexiest when I put on a long flowing sundress or maxi dress, and whether I have my bush or I have a short cut, and I'm just glowing. I got my coconut oil on my skin, and I'm letting the sun just do its thing because I know my power. I walk down the street like, no, you see this. I know you see it because I know it's here. And if I recognize it, you have no choice. And if we can get to that point where we walk in that strength, that's femininity, honey. Femininity is not what your trinkets are, your bells and whistles. Femininity is when you take the crutches away, what you got. That's embracing it. And cultivating the goddesshood is just an extension of that. It's like a goddess is a woman who walks in a room and commands the attention of the room. Baby, let me tell you, in this barbershop that I was just in, I was with one of my homeboys, a real good brother. I was with a good brother, and he knows some of the things I'm experiencing right now, and he's helping me with some things. And he said to me, he said, did you see how you control the energy in that room? All the men in there submitted to my will because I'm the goddess. I'm the mother. I'm the original woman. They came from me, you know? And you have to learn how to be responsible for the energy you bring into the room. You have to know how to manipulate the molecules in the room when you walk in it. And if you got to get there. You got to figure out a way, the fastest way to get there and get there. And it'll come natural. You'll know. You know when you know when you know. So that's how I feel like you cultivate the feminine and operate out of the goddess.
Whew, girl, I had to open my window. Lord have mercy. You are dropping so many bombs and speaking so much truth about this subject. And one thing that came to mind while I was listening to you speak about cultivating femininity is that a lot of women feel, like you said, that femininity is the same thing as weakness. They see femininity as a weakness. And so they gravitate to the hard and to the, to a more yang type of energy. But there's another side of femininity that we don't really like to talk about that doesn't get a lot of attention. And there is a warrior side to the feminine. There is, but that warrior does not equate to hardness. It doesn't equate to masculinity. It just means that you're willing to fight for what you believe is right, for the defense of your home, for the defense of your nation, your community. And, I've often said that femininity is not always pretty. And by that I mean I have 3 children. I gave birth to all 3 of my children naturally. Femininity, that is the height of femininity, is giving birth, I believe. That is the height of the feminine principle, is giving birth, is passing life through your body. That is the most unpretty moment. It's messy, it's painful, it's bloody, it's all of these things that it's chaos. But what we don't understand is that even in that moment of that chaos and of that violence, childbirth is a very violent act. Even in that moment, we never take ourselves out of that feminine energy. It is the great mother who gives you the strength to push a baby out. When your body is at its breaking point, it is the great divine feminine energy that allows you to bear the pain of the childbirth, to bear the emotional pain, to bear some of the heartache that women endure and experience. It is, in fact, the feminine energy that allows you to do that. I mean, and this is no slight against the brothers, but the truth is that as far as physical and emotional pain goes, women got men beat because men can't handle. They can't handle it. They just can't. Man gets sick, it's over. If his feelings hurt, he ain't going to let you know. He's going to stuff it. He's not going to process it. But women, the feminine energy, the divine feminine energy allows us to process and to, and to release and to let it go. That's why we cry. That's why we get, we get angry, or we have these moods, because we are literally processing all these different types of energy. All energy comes through us. So we have to understand, like you said, the whole of the matter, the whole thing, both the pretty, soft, glowing skin, walk in the room, shut it down energy, and also that energy that says, you know what, I need to go in my room and close the door, me and this box of Kleenex and this journal, we're about to get it in. All of that is feminine. It is, go ahead, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, you said something that was very powerful. You said that, you were speaking to the strength of a woman and how it relates to childbirth. A real simple two things that came to me were, one is like femininity is intangible. That's the best way I can put it. And childbirth is the most intangible, tangible thing that exists, because there's something divinely spiritual about physically giving birth to any child. And I don't have children yet, but I can only imagine. But also a woman acknowledging her strength. I think, and this might be left field, but I don't think women acknowledge it enough, because, like you said, men have no clue the weight that a woman carries. And a really good thing I just feel like should be said is, like, men lift heavy things and women lift heavy men. Like, that's what happens. And
wait, I just passed out. Hold on. I need a minute.
It's true. We lift heavy men. We lift heavy people, period. We lift heavy children. We lift heavy sisters. We lift heavy aunts, heavy debts off of people. Like, we are weightlifters. We're bodybuilders. That's what we do. We're consistently exercising every single muscle group we got to make sure the world is okay. That's a heavy thing to think about. But it should be it should be like that thing in your head that says, oh, shit, I am powerful. I am the great mother. I am the original woman. I am this goddess. I am this. And anything that makes you doubt that should be eradicated from your life immediately, period. There should be no, I'm very black and white. Like, if this ain't working, it's not working. Time to go. Because it's going to hurt the initial detachment from a thing. But it's what you get attached to after that is the benefit. So I think that women just have to get in that space and just understand that you're powerful. Just be powerful. It's not, I want women to take the messy work out of it. It's not that hard. And I know that sounds like I'm oversimplifying it, but maybe if I oversimplify it, it'll kind of balance out really how it is. It's not as hard as you're making it. Be powerful. See what you want to do, see what you want to be, and be that. Boom. Nothing else to it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Well, how would you speak then to a woman, if it is that simple? Why aren't more women embracing, cultivating, and abiding in their feminine energy? Is it that they don't know?
No, we know. You know what? I don't want to say we don't know, but I think even as, like, black people, it's in our DNA that we equate struggle with some sort of treasure. Like, to struggle is to be great. And I don't believe that. I don't believe you have to struggle to get a reward. I just don't. And I think that we believe if we sacrifice this and we struggle for that and we scrape by for this and, we go through and we experience strife and heartache, that we get some sort of, it means more. And to an extent it does, but at what cost? What did you lose in the process? Like, why would you swim across the lake when you can just drive your car across the bridge and get to the same place? Like, life life is how you make it. Life is as hard as you create it to be. And also, we don't want to talk to each other. See, the only way we're going to figure out how to get this feminine thing right is by being around other feminine energy. But we so hard and we so independent and we got shit all figured out. I don't need no this. You need a man. You need a companion. You need someone in your life giving you that part of you that you can't figure out for yourself. There's somebody who can give you that. But we create our reality. So you say what you don't need, you don't get what you need. You don't need it. You said it. And then we got degrees. We got nice cars, we got nice clothes. All of those things are really great accomplishments, and I don't want to ever take away from those things. But that ain't it, you know. Just like love ain't super glue, neither is a Gucci bag. Like, you got to have some balance. You just got to figure it out, what your balance is, though. But the only way you're going to figure out your balance is if you know what your lack is. What you need to balance if you know what your lack is. And if you keep filling up those empty spaces with temporary fillers, you'll never figure out your lack. You have to let yourself just get to a space where you know exactly what's missing and then go seek that and fill it.
What do you say? I'm getting text messages and instant messages. You are dropping so many bombs. I just need you to know that you are helping somebody this evening. Can I get an amen?
Yes, honey. Yes, honey. Yes.
I think for our sisters who are listening, we have some sisters who have been sexually assaulted, who have been raped, who have been molested. We have women who have been abandoned, women who have been neglected, women who have never been affirmed. What will you say to that woman who is seeking to cultivate her femininity and arise into her goddess nature? What would you say to that woman?
Make your story your platform. Stand on your story. Don't stand under it. Stand on it. Because once you start talking, there's going to be a sister who is afraid, and she's going to say, you know what, I got to get this off. And y'all are going to be able to sit there and talk, and then y'all going to bring somebody else into the circle, and y'all going to build a community around pain. Of course, yes, originally it's around pain, but the beautiful things that come from pain, we just talked about how chaotic childbirth is, but you trade it for the world. You'll make a rock leave for them babies. But you had to go through something to get to something. The only way out is through, period. So, yes, you've been hurt. Yes, you've been neglected. Yes, you've been abused. Yes, you've been undervalued. Yes, you've been molested. Yes, you've suffered from addiction. Yes, somebody is underestimating your abilities at work. Yes, you don't have confidence in yourself. But you have to understand you have to turn all of that around because no one's going to do it for you. The world is actually going to push those thoughts further. They're going to solidify those thoughts. That's what they want you to believe, because as long as they have you isolated, they can use you for their good. But if you get together with a community of women, they can't break that bond, especially black women. It's in our DNA to love each other, to wash each other's hair. You know, I go to Jeju. I really enjoy going to Jeju. And funny story real quick. One time I went, and I swear, because, you know, there's a part in Jeju where you're naked. And I swear I thought this lady was Nikki Giovanni. Don't laugh. I really thought she was Nikki Giovanni. And because we didn't have clothes on, I just saw her. I'm like, that's Nikki Giovanni in Jeju. Am I the only one who knows it? So anyway, I walked up to this woman, and my point here is we need to get naked with each other. And in this instance, it was literally I was naked. We were naked. But we have to get naked because there was no distraction. We had no choice but to speak to one another. And I come to find out that this woman was a civil rights activist that's marched with Martin Luther King, and her name is Mama Nana, and Nana Ya. And she's a elder in the African spiritual community down here and everything. But had I seen her in clothes and still thought she was Nikki Giovanni, I would have been deathly afraid, because how do you approach Nikki Giovanni? But when I seen this woman naked, there was nothing for me to go by but just the fact that we both naked. So, I mean, I might as well go for it. Like, I might as well speak my truth to this woman. I think you're Nikki Giovanni. And it wasn't her, but it was a lesson in it. We have to come to each other without all the bells and whistles. We need to come to each other naked. We need to say, you know what? I've been hurt. I'm hurting right now. I'm broken right now. My man is cheating. My kids is bad. My job is horrible. I ain't got no car, and I'm limping. Like, whatever your problem is, we have to be able to come to each other and not feel judged. We have to build each other. And I know that's like cliche as they get, but, honey, it's power in numbers. And if we can just get to that space, your voice means something. You matter. You're the reason the world turns. You're the center of the universe. You're the reason why men get up in the morning, to see you. The sun rises because you exist. You are creation. Like, you were created. Man was made, if you believe the Bible. But still, listen to the words that the world has created to describe you. And if you decide to listen to the ones that break you down, then you have to deal with those consequences. But you have to filter your information, eat the meat and spit out the bone, honey. You are everything. Everything. And you have to walk in that. You have to be powerful and strong and upright. You have to walk tall when you feel small. Trust me, I'm going through it right now, honey, but I feel good because I'm me. Damn it. I have overcome. I have been through the ringer and back, and I'm still in the ringer. But the ringer ain't going to get the best of me. I'm still going to be on top because I'm standing on my, and I'm going to help somebody stand on their story. And then you going to help somebody stand on their story. This life ain't about us. It ain't about what you've been through. You went through it, and that's not okay. But guess what? It's not about your pain. It's about how you apply your pain to help someone else deal with their pain. It's not about you. We have to get in a selfish, selfless mindset. Be selfish enough to say, you know what, I'm hurt and I need to acknowledge this. But be selfless enough to say, I have to get this off my chest because it's going to help somebody. You have to get there. You're not broken. It's not the end of your world. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end. You got a nurture the best in you. Don't let nobody take nothing from you. That people can only take from you what you give them. So if you feel like somebody taking your power away, you gave it to them. And that's a hard pill to swallow, but now you need to just look at yourself and be honest. You gave them your power, and you can take it back just as easily. So that's what I say to that.
You know, I was actually and that's an amazing answer. You are just blowing my mind, sis. I want you to know that you are really, really blowing my mind, and that is not an easy thing to do. So I want to say that, but I do want to say that I was, thinking when you were speaking, about how we give our power away. And in what ways do we give away our power?
Ooh, yeah, we do that every day. We give our power away by rejecting a compliment. And the truth of the matter is,
I just said, It hit me in my chest.
Yeah,
I said,
We do. Because how often do we walk down the street and somebody will say, that's a pretty dress? First thing we do is find a way to make it not so pretty. Oh, this old thing, I don't, Or, I like your hair like that, girl. I need to get it done. Subtle. It's so subtle and so deadly because we chip at it. We don't just take it off and give it. We chip at it. People try to give it to us, and we be like, I don't want it. It's too much. It's a burden. Because with power comes responsibility. You have to be responsible for your power. You have to know how to evenly distribute it. You need to know when it's important to have it and give it out and when you need to hold it back. But you always need to have a handle on it. So as the next time, this is how you start getting your power back, Queen. Time you're walking down the street and a fella says, hey, I think you're beautiful, don't shy away. Accept it. Walk in it. I feel as people, black people, we're taught don't be too haughty. Don't be haughty. Don't be, don't get too full of yourself. You ain't better than nobody. But the truth of the matter is, damn it, you are better than somebody. That's it. Because that's the world. That's life. Like, there's always going to be greater, stronger, better, prettier. And somewhere in that cycle, you exist. So you're better than somebody. I'm not telling you to be condescending to people that you might be better than, because you can help elevate them so that you can get to your next level, and you'll always be ahead. But you have to understand you're better than. I know I'm better than somebody, and that's not to say that they're not great, but I'm greater because I believe that about myself. So you just have to get into that mindset. Like, quit being – first of all, look up the word humble. Look up the definition of humble, and then see if you really want to be humble, and find another word for your humility. You know what I'm saying? Look up the words that people tell you to subscribe to, and find out what they really mean. Is that you? Are you humble? I don't know if I'm too humble. I'm not arrogant, but I don't know if I'm too humble. I look the word up. It's not all it's cracked up to be. So don't shrink to someone's perception of you, and don't allow anybody to give you a word to describe yourself that you don't know the definition of. That's how you keep your power and don't give it away.
That is. I wish I had an audio clip. I don't have a producer. You know, this is very homegrown, a very organic show. But I wish I had like a sound clip of a bomb, so I could just go. You are killing it tonight. I just want you to know that. As far as still staying on the topic of giving away our power, I guess the question that I'm trying to get to, or the answer, or the segue that I'm trying to make is, what is it that is still present in our communities, in our mindset, in the consciousness of Black womanhood that keeps perpetuating? Is it the music? Is it religion? Is it politics? Is it entertainment? Or is it all of the above? Are we living in a society and in an environment that does not foster this femininity, this goddess energy that we're talking about? Is that why women are having such a difficult time?
Hell yeah. We perpetuate what we're told. Again, it falls back to we exist in the definition that people have for us. And white supremacy is not going to let us be great, period. If the system of white supremacy has anything to do with it, Black women will always be the bed wench. Black women will always be the mammy. Black women will always be the sex kitten goddess, you know, the wrong kind. And we can't see outside of that because everything's so taboo to us. You know what I'm saying? Especially sexually. Oh, I'm not sucking no dick. Oh, no, don't turn me around. Oh, no, I ain't doing that. Why? It's great. You should try it. I'm telling you, most of our pain comes, a lot of our, I won't say pain, but a lot of our uncomfortable awkwardness about being feminine Black women comes from, I feel, sexual repression. We just ain't had no good sex. Because good sex it's like going to the chiropractor. You got to get a couple of alignments before you realize that you was walking crooked. I mean, that's just what it is. You don't even realize you got an S in your back until you go to the chiropractor and he adjusts you a few times. Then you be like, shit, how was I even existing like that? But we don't know anything's wrong because they've told us this was it. You have to be, you know, you have to go to school and master your career before you master your marriage. You have to put these things first. When we come from a people that are richly involved in family, it takes a village. That's us. We nurture and love each other. We have huts and sister circles. Like, that's in our DNA. But there's such a disconnect from our DNA and who we are now. We have no clue. None. Period. So as long as we keep listening to the wrong things, we're going to be doing the wrong things. We see Basketball Wives and Love and Hip Hop, and You know, there's actually one, though, that there's a reality show that I actually have liked. It's called Blood, Sweat, and Heels. And to me, it was a reality show. It had black women who were successful black women who weren't necessarily attached to an athlete or a rapper, and it just showed their everyday struggle. And yes, they had little cat fights and stuff, but it was so classy. They handled things like women. They argued, but you know, they were human. And I'm like, I realize we live in this society. Like, it's gonna be some foolishness on TV. Fine, people buy foolishness. People buy into those things, but we don't have to buy into them. There should be a filter. We need to work on our filter. What are you accepting and what are you rejecting?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We accept anything and call it the gospel. Honey, I got to go out here and, you know what I'm saying, I'm telling you, I'm so anti-weave. I'm trying to work on that because I have friends who wear weave, but that's the first place my mind goes when I think of a woman saying, on a Friday, getting paid, getting off early, the first thing she says is, I need to go to the hair salon.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? I need to go to the mall. I rarely hear women say, I need to go to the bookstore. Like, what's that? You know what I mean? What's under that Cambodian beat weight? What's under that? And I forgot who said the quote, but until we get the kinks out of our mind, it don't matter if we got kinks in our hair. So it's a bunch of dumbed down natural women walking around who have no idea that femininity is intangible. You know, they have full breasts and full hips and, you know, can recite Sonia Sanchez, but you know, they go home and they verbally abuse their men, and because women can be verbally abusive.
Oh, absolutely.
We will cut you down, honey, especially if you're the only person we got to cut down because we got cut down all day. I got to come down and come home and cut down on you to make me better. We just have to get into that space where we stop perpetuating the independent black woman thing. I don't ever want to be independent. I love to be self-sufficient, but I need somebody. I'm not here alone. I need somebody. I want somebody, and I want somebody to need me. Like, I'm okay with that. And with that, I'll receive that. But we don't even admit we need people. We're too independent.
You are listening to the Honey Pot Live with Miss Buttafly and my very, very special guest, Miss Elle Syreeta, who is the owner and visionary founder of N.I.N.A Holistics and N.I.N.A Sensuals. She is a womb care specialist. She is a teacher. She is a bomb dropper. She is just thebomb.com this evening. I am just, it's very, very difficult to make me speechless because, like, you know, we can talk. You know, women, we can talk. But you have really, because you've just spoken so many things that are pressing on my heart as women, and as black women, let me be very specific. This show is for black women. Now, Asian women, Latina women, Caucasian women, whatever kind, you can be blue, purple, green, that's fine. You can listen, that's great. But black women, we are in a state. We are in a dilemma. We have issues that you have laid out very, very clearly. We've talked about some of the issues in our previous show. We have issues. We don't know how to relate to ourselves, to our men, or to our children. And we have to really we don't understand our role. We don't understand our role as women. We don't understand our role as representatives and expressions of the divine feminine. And we absolutely, many of us, too many of us, don't even know that there is such a thing as a goddess principle. You know, and just to kind of take things in a different direction for just a brief moment, we have to talk about the fact that being feminine does not mean that you don't have a clue. Being feminine does not mean that you don't have an opinion. And when I say an opinion, I'm not talking about whether or not you think I should wear the red pumps or the red slingbacks. I mean, that we don't have an opinion about what's happening in the world, politics, economics, things like that. Because, see, a goddess understands things on a holistic scale. She's able to look at a situation and see the whole part of it, like you mentioned earlier with the W. And she's not just a woman with a whole, she's a whole woman. And as a whole woman, she understands the whole pie. She sees the whole pie. And the truth of the matter is that as Black women, we are suffering from post-traumatic slavery disorder. Almost all of the issues that we have as it relates to the way we talk to our children, to the fact that we think nappy hair is a bad word, to the fact that we think being sexual is taboo, that goes back to the ma'afa and the torture and the shame and the rape and the brutality that our ancestors experienced, that we still carry in our wombs and in our DNA, in our cellular memory. And so,
you know what, sis? I'm sorry. I wanted to say something real quick while you said something about that post-traumatic slavery disorder, because I did back in February. I did a special, month-long teleconference on the heart chakra, and all of the people who called in were women. So, but what I don't think we understand is that we're brokenhearted. And we're not even brokenhearted because there's some shit that happened yesterday. We're brokenhearted because our people are brokenhearted. We are notoriously a people who are disadvantaged in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And it's heartbreaking. That's why we suffer from heart disease. That's why we have the highest rate of high blood pressure. Like, we have all of these ailments, but they're not just falling out the sky. No, your mother did not give you diabetes. You did not inherit diabetes from your mother. You inherited emotional issues that caused you to eat too much sugar. That's what you inherited. So, yes, you inherited the bad habit that gave you the dis-ease, but you did not inherit the dis-ease. And once we start understanding, girl, I'm trying, like, the chakras, like, it's so many. Everything's taboo, though. If it ain't Jesus, it ain't happening. And Jesus ain't going to save you.
Oh, Lord, you said it. You said it.
I'm going to say it. Jesus ain't going to save you. Christ is a consciousness. When they talk about Christ in the Bible and they're talking about he ascended to heaven, honey, that's us going from our lower man to our higher consciousness. That's the ascension of Christ. And once we get out of waiting on Jesus to save us and woe is me and my reward is in heaven, my reward is not in heaven. Heaven is inside of me right now, and I operate in my reward every day. And that's when we're going to get our power back, is when we take the power away from Jesus. Yes, I said it, and I meant it. Because that's real. You won't be waiting forever. I'm telling you, honey, it's deep. We got it bad. We wait on we're waiting to be saved by so many saviors when we're our savior. You're waiting on yourself. The God you're waiting on is you, power. You are not separate from that source. You are that source. You have to operate in that source. The truth of the matter is, as long as you're reading that book, and I'm not bashing religion, I was raised Southern Baptist. I'm speaking passionately about it because I realized where it held me back and how I'm having to slingshot ahead in a rapid pace to catch up. Like, sometimes the rest of me has to catch up with my higher self. I have to. And I fight tears sometimes. Lower self and my higher self fight, because my lower self wants to be like, Jesus paid it all. Jesus take the wheel. Watch me white as snow. I'm trying to be saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. Do you know that the Holy Ghost is you? You are all of those things. You are the triune God. You are all of that. And the moment that you relinquish some invisible God that is a separate entity from you, as long as you relinquish that responsibility from that being, that's when you're going to start operating your goddess. And stop thinking your goddess is outside of you and that goddess doesn't exist. God, you know what I'm saying? God.
I do.
you're that. That's you. That's what they talking about. The black woman. I'm sorry, I got in my feelings. I got in my feelings just now.
No, sis. You already know. You and I have had enough conversations. We've talked about, both of our history in the church and in religion, and in understanding, that statistically, I mean, when you look at the church and you look at the demographic of the church in the black community, and you see that 75% of all churchgoers in the black community are women. And then you look at our homes and you see that we have a disproportionate number of single mothers heading homes, and you see these connections, and you really have to say, what, there's a problem here, and I, for one, I'm glad you said it, because, I'm definitely not afraid to say it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to dedicate a whole show to talking about why Christianity is bad for black women, the way that we practice it now. And you have to say that, the way that we practice it now, because the tenets and the very essence of Christianity, the way that it has been developed and everything over the years, was stolen from us. So what they've done is taken us from us, flipped it and reversed it, like Missy Elliott said, put the thing down, flipped it and reversed it, and then gave it back to us, and now it's got us all bound up.
Exactly. You said something to me at that Goddess Circle that will never leave me. You quoted me a scripture, and I stick to it because it's so poignant. If you could just, the sisters on the line, if you're struggling, there's a part of my spirit right now that feels like most of you are struggling with that religion thing, because something in you, and just know something is off. But it's comfortable, it's easy, and it's safe. But take the smallest things out of the Bible, like if the eye be single, then the whole body be full of light. We have, physically, when I look at you, you got two eyes. What is this one eye they're talking about? That right there, if I can raise that question based on that two sentences, it's so many other gems in there that you miss out on because you punishing yourself for living up to, honey, listen. We punish ourselves for being what we were created to be.
Absolutely.
We punish ourselves because our loins get in a tizzy when we see Idris Elba. Oh no, I don't want. No, you're supposed to react that way. It's okay. Touch yourself. See what yourself feels like. There were some women at my old job. I'm sorry, sis. I get on my tangent. There was some women at my old job.
I gave you a whole extra half hour because I wanted you to go ahead and do you. So go ahead and speak to the people.
There was some women, and I was going to call them young ladies, but they were not young ladies. They were 30 and up at least. So they were talking about oral sex. And, they're like, when he come up, he better go brush his teeth. And so I was like, that sent my antennas way up in the air. I was like, I was like, but why though? Like, it's yours? And they like, I don't want it. I'm like, so you don't touch it? No, I mean, I wash it. I'm like, so you don't put your finger in there and taste it? I know that sounds crazy, but how you expect somebody else to know how you taste or enjoy it? I'm not saying do anything like, make a meal of it, but check yourself out. Go stand in the mirror and see what she's looking like. Talk to her, massage her, and not in a sexual way. Loving touch. We don't touch. Touch is so healing and so powerful, but we're so disconnected. Like, we associate everything has to be sex. But you can love on yourself. You can rub coconut oil over your body and take your yoni egg when it's out the hot water, the warm water, and when it gets, cools down just a little and still warm, take the yoni egg and rub it around your clitoris and insert it, or have your partner do it for you. That's an amazing foreplay practice. We don't even want to touch our own vaginas, and I'm sure that I'm not on the topic we were just on, but I'm going to roll with this.
No, you
can't. We don't even want to touch our vaginas. We're afraid of our vaginas, and they're ours. We can't get rid of them, And so that was very disturbing because that was a general theme. That was a common theme in that conversation. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to taste it. I don't want to, he got to go brush his teeth. So you telling me in the heat of the passionate moment where you're loving on this man and he's loving on you and he's trying to, taste your essence, and they don't know about the soma. They got to feel Valentine when he talk about the soma and the essence and all of that. He's drinking your soma. He's getting his life, literally. And you don't want a part of that. You don't want to engage yourself in giving this man. You don't want to uplift this man by allowing him to continue. You're going to break that energy, that electricity you got going on. So that's nothing but electricity flowing in that exchange. And it's a beautiful thing, and things are being created, and walls are being broken down, and barriers are being broken, and love is being built, and children are being made, and plans are coming into fruition. There's so many things that happen during sex. You telling me I'm not about to tell nobody to get up and go brush your teeth? No, do that in the morning. Worry about it. But you know what, sis?
It's so crazy because I know women who not only don't want to taste themselves. No, he can't kiss me. I don't want to, that whole thing, what you're talking about. But these are the same women who won't breastfeed their children because they like, my man suck on my titty. I don't want to get turned on with my baby. We are really fucked up in our head. What do you mean you don't want to breastfeed your? So you mean the milk that comes into your breast 3 days after you have the baby, because the first 3 days is just colostrum, which is just pure, straight nutrition and nutrients.
Right.
3 days afterwards, your breasts get full, you get the letdown, and you don't want to give that to your baby when it is, in fact, the best thing for your baby. I mean, we are so disconnected. Like you said, I can't add nothing to what you said other than the fact that we really need to examine ourselves, and you mentioned the Bible, and the Bible definitely tells us to let a man examine himself, but that also means let a woman examine herself and literally stand over the mirror, get you a mirror, stand over it, spread them lips apart, see what she looking like. What do you even
move for it too? Like, romance yourself. You don't need anyone. See, the reason why your man is not doing it is because you're not. He doesn't know. Because
we are the teachers.
Yeah. Oh, you don't even know what you just said just then. Like, you listen, I'm going to talk to you about this barbershop experience later. But women are the teachers. You have to teach people how to treat you, and that does not just go for sexually. Like, you want somebody to respect you, teach them how to respect you. Quit assuming. Never assume people know, because they don't. Because guess what? They don't know how to treat themselves. So two people in the same room who both got the same problem. If it's two crackheads in a crack house, who going to say stop getting high? Who going to do it? Somebody has to be the master. Somebody has to know something different. So make yourself that person. It's empowering to see somebody else uplifted by something you said or did. It's uplifting, which builds your confidence, which gives you some of your power back. But, yeah, light you some candles, get you some incense. And I would suggest, and it's a little tidbit, you can take notes if you want, ladies, get you some sage and some sweet-smelling incense, like some frankincense and myrrh or something like that. And when you're standing over that mirror with your candles lit and you playing your sensual music, or you're playing, your meditation music, and it's just you and your sanctuary and your temple, your body. That's all it is. That's all you need. Sage your womb. Get a towel or a long skirt or a sheet or whatever you need, and stand over some sage. Stand over some frankincense. That's your temple. Life goes there. And I know black women use a lot of bleach cleaning their house. The women at my old job use so much Lysol, I used to think I was going to choke, because we have an obsession with being clean, a lot of us. We're clean. We're clean people. Treat your womb the same way. Don't just go in there with a rag and some zest, or I don't know. Is that too throwback, zest? Do people still use zest? I don't even see. I don't know. My grandmother did that to me. I'm scarred from that green zest. I hate it. Anyway.
I can't use it either. It's way too strong.
Yeah, don't just run up in there with anything. Like, no, nurture your yoni, honey. You have to get to a point you understand the pH, you understand that the soap you're using is throwing off the pH, which is giving you the vaginal dryness, which is giving you the bacterial vaginosis. Understand you have cysts and tumors and fibroids because, A, you're eating too much mucus, and all tumors and fibroids are is calcified mucus. So what you have to do is eat non-mucus forming foods. And what is that? You're going to look at your warm lemon water, your apple cider vinegar. It's plenty of that stuff out there for you. And you also have to know that tears are tumors. Cry. Don't be afraid to cry. You're not too cute to cry. I'm actually struggling with crying now because I've been through so much, and I'm such a tough cookie at this point. You know, it's hard for me to cry over bullshit, but what I accept that as is I just can't cry over bullshit. I can't waste my tears. They have to be my tears are valuable. My tears are valuable. My tears have Swarovski crystals on them. That's how valuable they are to me. Like, you can't have them. So get into a space where you understand. Love your vagina. She will love you back. Reciprocity is all up and through the universe, but you have to tap into it. Give yourself what you want so other people can give you what you want freely.
So, sis, are you saying that your womb has a consciousness?
Your womb has a memory. Yes, the womb has a consciousness. What happens is, I'm going to use this as an example because you never know who's experienced this, but women who get a lot of abortions, after so many, your womb is going to say, I don't want this baby. And you're not going to be able to carry a child because your womb remembers that every time this happens, you eliminate it. This is bad. That's not by happenstance. That's not like just a freak accident. No. You've tuned your body to eliminate anything that sits in that space, period. And, yes, the womb has a consciousness because the first place anything negative goes is where the most room for nurturing goes. So if you have pain in your spirit or someone hurts you and you don't know how to properly deal with that, and you don't let it out, you don't find a release or an outlet, it's going to go to your womb. It's going to manifest itself in a cyst or a fibroid. It's going to sit there because that's where life is nurtured. Things get life in the womb. So, yes, the womb is very alive and awake, and it's moving, and it's working, and it's breathing, and it's asking you for attention. And you letting everybody else have its attention. You giving everybody else its attention. You letting, a lot of different phallus action happen. So give it some attention yourself. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, reverse the roles. Give it attention first, and then you'll know, like, this ain't the attention I want because I know the attention I want because I know that. I've tuned into that with myself.
What about the sister who may not have her physical womb anymore? What about her? Is it still possible for her to ascend to this goddess consciousness? Is it still possible for her to cultivate her femininity? Is it still possible for her to love and nurture and become in tune with her womb? Does she still have a womb because her uterus is gone? What do you say about that?
What I can say about that, I try not to speak when I don't know something 100% because I always want to give the best answer. I'm not familiar with the process of a hysterectomy in the sense of how it affects a woman after that. But what I can say is that, a lot of women who go through, menopause, I used to work in an OBGYN office, so I understood that that's a big deal. But I met a woman once. She was 40. She was like 46. And I asked her about it because I was curious. I'm like, so have you, like, gone through that? Or she's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going through menopause. So I imagine whatever chemical things take place after hysterectomy, in that process of life, no matter what the reason is. And another thing, this is what I do know. They're taking black wombs, like 40 going north. You go into the doctor because you have severe cramps. Somehow, some way, 3 weeks later, they're suggesting a hysterectomy or partial hysterectomy. They want your womb. They don't want you having a baby. They don't want that. So what I would suggest in that instance is that you get a second, third, fourth, and fifth opinion and then ask yourself again. And then you figure out a way to heal yourself, learn how to heal yourself. Stop being lazy. And that's just honest advice. Stop being lazy with your healing, your self-healing. You're a healer. You're a teacher. You're the one that fixes it. Now, the hysterectomy question, yes, a woman is still a woman whether she has the physical womb or not, because you're a woman. That's how you were created as that. You have the bosom, you have the breast, and at some point you did have the womb. But what happens is when women have that part of them taken, you feel like your womanhood went with you, and that's not true. So it's all about what you believe about yourself. If you believe you lost any part of your femininity in your womanhood, you create that in your real life. So, no, you don't have it because you said it. So, I mean, I can't speak to the physical aspect because I don't know enough about that. That's just honest. But what I can tell you is that at the end of the day, everything you have is something you said, and so is everything you lack. And if you lack femininity because you don't have your womb, it's because you said it, not because that's reality. That's just the reality you've created.
Woo! Lord have mercy. This is the Honey Pot Show with Miss Buttafly. I'm on the phone with Elle Syreeta, who is the founder and the visionary behind N.I.N.A Holistics. She is dropping so much knowledge and so much healing information that can really restore and begin to cultivate femininity in the minds of the women who may be listening to this show, if you just apply it. I mean, and she's already said that it's not it's not difficult to do. It's really kind of, sis, I would imagine, falling into yourself, settling into yourself, becoming so comfortable with who you are that you don't allow anything to move you off of your square. You don't allow anything.
Anything that comes into your space and doesn't match up with it, it does. If it doesn't make sense, then don't accept it until it does. And if it never does, then you never had the problem of having to stress over some shit that didn't make sense to you about yourself.
Exactly. I want to just read something really quickly, and it's something that I put together a while ago, but it's so appropriate. It's actually something that I put together when I was doing the Goddess Circle, and the Goddess Circle is making a comeback. I just had to tweak some things and had to make sure that I was staying true to the vision that I was given. But I want to read this. It talks about what goddess energy is, because we've alluded to it, but we haven't really defined what the goddess is, what the divine feminine is. And so I want to read this. It says, a goddess is the form that a feminine archetype may take. Goddess types represent model ways of being and behaving that women all share and recognize from the collective consciousness. Understanding goddess types offers a woman very specific means of increased self-awareness, increased self-awareness of herself, her relationship to her lover and her partner, her way of parenting her children, her inner urges in her self-expression and creativity, and many, many other ways. In this way, we bring into balance our hidden goddess qualities and better actualize these gifts. So basically what that's saying is that once you have, because the truth of the matter is that we do learn better by example. We learn better by observation, by seeing someone model. That's why it's so important for those of us who understand something of this topic, something of this goddess energy, that we really begin to walk in it. Those who have shared their issues and all of that and are coming into a goddess consciousness, it's important because our sisters need somebody to see other than fucking Olivia Pope. Okay? They need somebody else to see.
We got to have a scandal conversation, me and you, though. We got to have a scandal conversation.
We need somebody to see. Our sisters need somebody else to see other than, you know, like you said, basketball wives and love and hip-hop women that are only famous by being somebody's baby mama. And not to minimize motherhood, but at the same time, if that's all you got to bring to the table is your fat ass, your round hips, your vagina and your titties and your pretty face, that's not goddess consciousness. A goddess understands. She has self-awareness. She understands her relationship to the world around her and to herself. And through understanding these ancient goddesses, we as women are able to reconnect with our own inner cycles. We're able to say, you know what, I know why during this time of the month I get real cranky, and I know why during this time of the month I get real horny. And I'm not talking about just ovulation and premenstrual, syndrome. I'm talking about understanding our connection to the moon, understanding our connection to the earth herself, understanding that all of the goddess archetypes that I'm going to mention in a few minutes are really representations of universal principles. I don't necessarily believe, I'm not a big fan of belief, but I don't necessarily believe in a sky daddy or a sky mama. Because even when the ancients spoke about the goddess Nut and her being the arched body of a woman, arching over the entire earth, that was symbolic. That was not literal. That's not really a woman's body out there. So we have to understand that when we see these, we are supposed to internalize. The Bible even talks about Christ in you being the hope of glory. So when you see these goddesses, when you see this goddess energy, and when you understand it and are exposed to it, you are supposed to internalize the goddess nature. You're supposed to take the attributes of Aset or Oshun or Yemaya or Hathor or whomever, and you're supposed to find yourself in that. They are the ancients' way of giving us example. And so through understanding these ancient goddesses, we're able to reconnect with our own inner cycles, both physically as well as psychologically and spiritually. When we understand that we have to understand that there are goddess cycles that include disappearance and reappearance, creation and destruction, nurturing and devouring, birth and death, giving and taking away. There's balance. There has to be balance in all things. And so as far as, the feminine principle and the goddess principle, being that giver and that nurturer and everything, there's also a point where you say no, and I've had enough, this far and no further, and I'm standing on my square, I'm sitting on my throne, and my crown is on straight. And there's no question, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Within the goddess is the cosmos. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like you said, it's non-negotiable. My goddesshood, my womanhood, my womanness, the things that are my femininity, that's non-negotiable. Stop making your womanhood negotiable. It's non-negotiable. I'm this, and that's it. Nothing more. You get it or you don't. Period. I definitely agree with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these last couple of sentences, they say, within the goddess is the cosmos. Within the goddess is the cosmos. We're going to stop right there because my sister already said that we have to stop externalizing our power. So when we say that within the goddess is the cosmos, you can easily translate that to say that within me is the cosmos. Within you is the entire universe. Okay? Just marinate on that for a minute. The entire universe, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, the carbon, the melanin, everything is the universe. Your atoms, your cells, everything is the universe within you. And the goddess not only nurtures physical life, but also the life of the soul. And a goddess is in tune with her emotions. A goddess understands that when those feelings come up, that does not mean that you have to necessarily go along with them and act out and throw a tantrum or anything like that. when those feelings and those energies come up, that make you feel like you're going crazy, because sometimes, hormones, when they're not in check consciously, they can run amok. They're like children on the playground. When you don't have a conscious hold on your physical body, your hormones, just run out of control. And sometimes they manifest in emotions that we don't understand. Why am I feeling this way? I feel like shit, and I don't know why. I feel like crying. I don't know why. We go to a brother. This brother may be struggling with his own daddy issues, his own whatever. He's like, baby, what's wrong with you? And you say, I don't know. He said, well, shit, I don't know either. So, one of my very, very good friends, he used to always say, if you don't know, then who does? If you don't know what's going on with you, who does? And all it takes is getting somewhere, getting quiet. Sat down. Sat your tail down. Be quiet.
Sat your tail down. And don't you move. You want to know something, sis, real quick, that came to me just now when you was talking? You said so many poignant things, but like a few moments ago you mentioned something to the effect of, and I might have heard this wrong or received it wrong, but I almost want to say you were getting to the point of being more than your sexuality. That's what I gathered. Like, yeah, and something funny came up for me earlier, because now we fall a victim to our sexuality because we fall for the wrong men who abuse it, but know the enemy. Like, know that you can't, know who you cannot trust, and don't think because a brother has on, he has a chew stick and a mud cloth sweater or shirt that, I just want to say, don't become a hotep hoe. That just was on my spirit. Like, that's, you mean a pew groupie? Don't be a pew groupie. Don't be the pew groupie. Don't fall. Don't fall for the metu netter. Don't fall for any of that, because what happens with black women. I'm sorry, I know this is off, but this is what's coming out my mouth, because I feel like a lot of women are like, well, all I got to do is deal with a different kind of man for that not to happen. Like, let me go over here to the Erykah Badu side. That's the first thing people say. Girl, he listened to Erykah Badu and Jill Scott. And then so we go get Iyanla Vanzant books to break our little cherry, to see what it's about, because that's safe. Iyanla's safe. We're not going to go get no bell hooks from out the gate. We're going to ease it in with Iyanla. But don't become a hotep hoe. Don't let a man ashe you out your vagina. Understand he should love you, and he should know your body from your pussy to your pineal. And if he's leaning too heavy on one or the other, find a balance. And if it gets too far south, then you need to go. Like, period.
That is a sound word. That's a sound. No, I'm so serious. Like, I know we laughed and giggled and everything, but that is a sound word, because, in the church, I used to call it coochie counseling. But you just gave it a new term, don't be a hotep hoe. Yeah. And it is the truth. Predators, not all conscious men, as a matter of fact, not most conscious men. There's a contingency of assholes in every group. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what group we're talking about. So you have to, what comes to mind when you talk about guarding your sacred space, what comes to my mind is trusting your intuition. Trust your gut. When your gut say, girl, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Or do you think that's the right? And if you feel that hesitation, honor that, because that is the goddess speaking to you. That is your mama saying, baby, don't cross the street just yet. I know the light is green, but it's a car coming. You understand what I'm saying? That you, and women, and because we've been so accustomed to, giving away our power. We give our power away to Jesus. We give our power away to Oprah. We give our power away to Jay-Z and Beyonce. We give our power away to the Korean beauty supply store. We give our power away to Kentucky Fried Chicken. We give our power away to Scandal. We give our power away to everybody. And so then at the end of the day, when a predator comes, because a predator is going to come looking for the woman who's given her power away.
And your predator is going to look exactly like your desire. Your predator looks like your prayer.
I'm sorry. You took my breath away.
Your predator will come disguised as your prayer, honey. So you have to have a discerning spirit. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's something else, when you come out of Christianity, if you're coming out of Christianity, you're coming out of Islam, you're coming out of whatever religious practice that you're in, and you're coming into a more culturally based awareness and consciousness, you have to realize that you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Discernment is a gift that is not relegated to one religious practice. It is the benefit of generations of women. Mm-hmm. Generations of women stand behind you. Generations of women, generations of healers and womb practitioners and midwives and warriors and queens and scholars and musicians and artists stand with you. And
oh my gosh, sis. I'm sorry. I want to say something. This is synchronicity because you're talking about our ancestors and how great they are. And a brother said to me earlier something that goes right on what you're saying. He said, think about it. The further back you go, the greater they get. Who's your mother's mother? Your grandmother. Who's her mother? Yep. Your great-grandmother. Who's her mother? Your great-great-grandmother. It gets, the further back you go, the greater it gets. Stand on the shoulder. Yes. Oh, God, I got chills.
Stand on the shoulders of your ancestors. Trust your intuition. Listen to your soul. And if you don't know what the sound of your soul, if you don't know what the voice of your womb sounds like, get quiet. Still yourself. Release worry. Release doubt. And if you're scared, because a lot of women are scared, if you're scared, it's okay. Take your fear with you. Make your fear conform to your will. And transmute that energy, transmute that fear into focus. We are running out of time. I'm going to have you back on the show because I got 90 seconds left. We got to wrap this show up, girl. I could go on and on. This could have been a 3-hour show. Okay, this could have been a 3. Will you come back? Will you come back next week and talk and with me some more next week? Can we have a part 2 next week? Awesome. That just made my day. You don't even understand. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been our sister Elle Syreeta of N.I.N.A Holistic, sharing her wisdom, sharing her ancestral understanding, and sharing herself with us. And we're so grateful, sis, that you came on and that you're going to come back. Thank you all for listening, for all my callers, for every text, everybody that's been posted on the Honey Pot page on Facebook. We thank you. Follow us on Facebook. You can like us at The Honey Pot. Follow us on Twitter at The Honey Pot Show. You can follow me on Instagram. That's my major platform at _Miss Buttafly, Buttafly. And you can follow my sister here at N.I.N.A Holistics on Instagram, N.I.N.A Holistics. This has been Miss Buttafly and Miss Elle Syreeta, my queen, sister, girlfriend, honey, child. We coming back next week. We love you. Peace.
Peace. Love you too.
Oh, my God.